Ryan, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Like I said, a little humid here in Boston today. Great summer weather, though. Excited to be talking to you. Thanks so much for taking the time. How was your day?
My day was great. I had a lead event from 8 to 3 today. Had weights at 4, and it's 5 o'clock out here, so had a pretty busy day.
So, just with respect to the lift, what did you guys get done today in the weight room?
We had max. We did reps of bench, so we did it till we can't go no more. I hit 280 for 8 today, uh, so it was a tough lift.
280 for 8 is like D lineman strength right there.
Yeah.
So we got a good lineup of questions as you and I were discussing. So why don't we just take it all the way back to the beginning? Where are you from?
From Chicago. I stay right outside of Chicago in Hazel Crest, Illinois. So the Southside, right outside. So it's a nice place to live.
Shout out to Ari Shelton as well.
Yes, sir. Shout out to my cousin Ari.
Now describe the life of a Bulls, White Sox, Bears fan.
It's kind of hard being a fan of them because they barely make it to the playoffs. But I don't get in tune with basketball until the playoffs because I'm focused up on football. For real. Same with baseball, but football, it's kind of hard being a Bears fan. I hope we're good this year. I know Justin Fields and we got a couple new receivers, so I hope we do good this year.
DJ Moore is the real deal. I'm excited for him to play with an athlete like Justin Fields, and I mean, I think they're going to surprise some people this upcoming season.
Yeah, for sure. I hope so.
So, I mean, Michael Jordan aside, who would you say, old or new, are some of your favorite kind of Chicago athletes?
Definitely Walter Payton. He was probably one of the greatest running backs to ever play. Yeah, obviously Michael Jordan, Derrick Rose for sure. I don't know if you know who this is, Gale Sayers.
Without a doubt. Come on.
Okay. Gale Sayers is up there too. He's definitely one of the GOATs. Not too very for sure. I like Tim Anderson on the Sox, but baseball I'm not too like familiar with players. But football and basketball, I can name a couple.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago always has its moments in the sun, and being a person who's born and raised in San Diego, I mean, we can't really lay claim to any championships in a major sport. So, I mean, growing up, it almost felt like the Chicago Bulls were everybody's, backyard or whatever, because MJ was always on TV.
Yeah.
So on that note, at what point in your life growing up in Chicago, where clearly it's a huge sports town for every imaginable, sports competition, hockey, whatever, when did you sort of go, man, football is like my calling?
When I was 5, my dad was actually a coach, and he loved telling this story. He tells this story all the time, but he said when I was 3 years old, I was asking, can I play? Can I play? He said, no, you got to wait till you're 5 years old. So on my 5th birthday, I woke him up and he signed me up. So I've been playing like football, been my calling ever since.
Wow. Okay. So coach is a dad. So what position did your dad play back in the day?
He played running back.
Okay. So that's a good, well-rounded skill position to be getting coaching from. Footwork. Obviously your dad knew how to block. So yeah. He's probably somebody who's holding you accountable to your game tape, probably just as strict as any of your other coaches are.
Yeah, I used to be a running back back in when I was younger.
I mean, that was my position in high school, and then the second I got to college, practice one. I love telling the story. Golf cart flies by me, green jersey hits me in the face. They're like, "Yo, give us that white jersey back. You're on defense now." So. Running backwards while covering dudes that are running forwards is always a fun thing to do. But man, I got to say that like nothing gets me hyped more than thinking about one-on-ones every day with the wide receivers in the corners.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just great. So from high school, so you've had a already like just a very, when I read about the journey or path that you have had to this point, what I always see is just somebody who's got the utmost dedication to this game, and as like any sport, it's a passion, but I truly believe that football, amongst all of the other things that are out there, is really a sport that is, you got to love it, right?
Yeah.
So from high school to Central Missouri to JUCO at Iowa Western, talk about the journey that has taken you to Southwest Missouri State, and what did you take away from each one of those stops along the way?
Yeah, so high school, honestly, just had to wait my turn. I started freshman year, I started sophomore year, I started my junior year, started my senior year, but I wasn't really the go-to guy until my senior year. And we barely threw it my senior year, which my recruiting wasn't too high, so D2 was my ceiling, I guess. So I went D2. It was a good experience. Division two. I learned a lot. I played scout team my freshman year, and I won Scout Player of the Year. I was a starter 2019, but I got hurt 2 weeks before the first game. I missed 5 games, and we won conference that year. And then COVID hit, so I decided to have other plans and transfer. So I went to Iowa Western, and we went to the national championship that the year I played. Fortunately, we lost, but it was a good experience. And then SEMO, I came to SEMO. It was I really learned here how to be a leader and how to work my spot just to be a captain. And I became a captain 3 months, stepping on campus, and had a great season last season. I'm planning on having an even better season this year. So the journey was a little rocky, but it was good.
I mean, it's an inspiring thing, man. Like as explosive as a sport as football is, I don't think enough people understand that it's really an endurance sport when it comes to be the mental side of it.
Yeah.
Right. Like you said, sometimes you have to wait your turn behind somebody else who's an upperclassman who's already waited their turn, and you have to learn that pecking order, even if you're maybe making plays in practice every day that they're not making.
Yeah.
To that extent, just to sort of, not to shower you too many compliments here early in the pod, but stats and accomplishments from last year: first team All Ohio Valley Conference, for Southeast Missouri. Like you said, team captain, starting 11 games, leading the team in receiving yards, 984, receiving touchdowns, 7, receiving yards per game, 89.5. And the stat that jumped out to me is you had a season high 15 receptions for 256 yards against Eastern Kentucky. I mean, that kind of a number shows that they're utilizing you as a wideout, similar how you would utilize a running back in terms of touches, because it means that you're just that consistent with what you do. How do you feel when you're, in the huddle and that you're one of the go-to guys on the team, that you're going to just basically move the chains every single time you touch a football?
I got to trust in my team. I got to trust that the O-line does their job to protect the quarterback. I got to trust that the other receivers run the right route. It's really just a trust, and what happens for real. So I play fast. I know my teammates play fast. So the ball come my way, I'm definitely make the play 10 times out of 10.
I mean, what was that catch that you had an amazing jump ball against Iowa State?
Yeah.
And I remember Ari was the first person to put me on with that highlight to what you were doing. And that was like a pro caliber, high point kind of catch, right? Like to the point where, playing, like I said, having been thrust into playing cornerback, the high point, people that know how to time that kind of a catch, there's always room in the league for somebody who knows how to do that and do it well. So, when we talked the first time, the other thing that just like was remarkable in my mind was just how unbelievably humble you are, given all that you've already accomplished. You talked far more about your teammates on that first phone call than you ever did about, anything that was individual. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you said that the theme for this upcoming season for Southern Missouri is good to great. So
Yes, sir.
What makes this upcoming team special in terms of fulfilling that team mantra?
We have tremendous amount of leaders on the team. We probably have like 17 leaders that all want to mold the whole team to be great. We read a book called Good to Great. It was forgot who was the author, but we read a book and we had a class on it. And so every week we'll go and we'll read the book, and every week we'll talk about it and give what key points that stood out to us. And everybody on the team knows what the standard is. We know what the mission is, and we know what we want to accomplish. So that's why I feel like last season was a good season, but this season is going to be a great season.
So on that note, you shouted out a couple names when we first chatted. Who are some of the teammates for this upcoming season that you want to recognize as some of those leaders?
We got a handful. We have Lawrence Johnson. He's one of our captains. Demorier Vick, he's on leadership council. Paxton DeLaurent, starting QB. We have starting linebacker, Bryce Norman. He's a great leader. Zach Gigg is our center. He won the award for best center in college football. Yeah, we have a lot of leaders. I could keep naming them. Jacob Morrissey, he's a linebacker. We have Christian Furman, linebacker. Gino Hess, All-American running back, two-time All-American running back. We have D lineman, London Manuel. Just the list can go on. We all know what we want to achieve. So, and they hold the standard as well as I hold the standard. So.
Now, speaking of just, DBs, again, one-on-ones, practice, who is kind of that upcoming younger cornerback that is not afraid to, match you up in line for one-on-ones in practice, even if sometimes you're getting the best of them?
Yes, I can name two. Ty Leonard, he's going into his senior year, but he's a DB with great talent, and a young DB would be Joe Edric Lewis. That's the most competitive person I know. He loved going against me. Like, yeah, I want one, and it's just I love to see it because I know he want to be great.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. I didn't do enough homework in terms of whether or not your DBs are playing a lot of man, a lot of bump, or whatever. But obviously, in one-on-ones, usually it's right up close at the line. Footwork based, handwork based, and it's just, I think it's one of the most beautiful things that you can kind of like perfect, in the sport. So in terms of perfection, in terms of continual improvement, good to great, you mentioned that you earned a nickname, Super. So how did the name Super come about? When did that happen?
Really, when I first got here, people just started seeing my numbers in the weight room and seeing my 40 time and stuff and seeing how high I could jump. And they was like, oh, he's Superman. So the Super name stuck, and coaches call me Super. Majority of the players call me Super. Some people on campus call me Super. So I just seeing how I work, and then just I don't really know. It just came quick, like overnight.
I mean, it's an amazing thing when you get a nickname like that, but you're able to actually, represent it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to call out some stats here, just because, I wouldn't expect you to do it on your own behalf or whatever. Your height 6'2", 200, like you said, you had a bench day today. So you told me that your max 350 on the bench, 41 inches on the vert, and a 4.3/4.4 in the 40. So these measurables obviously are putting you in the top 1% for position, college or even pro. So what are some of the aspects of your game, given the fact that the physical side, you already got that part on lock? What are the things that you're doing to prepare for this next, chapter as you move for this season, then into the league?
Mentally, I'm really just studying what other great receivers do and how they do it. So I'll watch Randy Moss here and there. I'll watch current players, current receivers in the league, and just picking up on their tendencies and just see what they do and how they made it. So that's something I'm doing to get to the next chapter. I'm working on my hips a lot. I'm doing a little bit of yoga. So I'm just doing little details just to get to the next level.
Yeah, no, I remember you mentioning the yoga piece, which is like incredible. In fact, I don't think enough football players are pushed into yoga soon enough, because, not to hearken, the favorite word of Mr. Tom Brady, but pliability is a real thing.
Yeah.
So I also read that you said that if you could hang out with two NFL legends, that you would have picked Jerry Rice and Ray Lewis. Why is that?
Yeah. Just because the mindset they had, beginning with Ray Lewis, he's a dog. Like, he's obviously a Hall of Fame player. And I listened to some of his speeches and just how he talk and like his mindset on effort and just the will to do anything. So that's why I would love to hang out with him. And Jerry Rice, just because he's considered the greatest receiver of all time, and I want to be in the same conversation as him. So to me, him would be something I like.
Jerry Rice, man. I mean, I don't know if he ever eclipsed 4.6 in the 40, but man, that dude was never caught from behind on the field.
Yeah.
Also a leader. So on that note, with these tools that you have, just how important is it that you continue to mention leadership, accountability, living the part, setting the example through your actions. Just walk me through your typical week as a college football player, because as you and I were saying, being a D1 player, you're basically in the gym or in the coach's office mostly 2 times a day. I think you have 1 day off. Is that right?
Weekends off.
Weekends off. So,
yeah.
From a Monday, whether it's in season or off season, kind of just walk me through, how intense that schedule really is.
Yeah, it's pretty intense. I'm kind of used to it, so it's not intense anymore. But we have lift 4 times a week, meetings almost every day. We have breakfast checks. We have lunch. We have just meetings and film and special team meetings, just meetings after meetings and weights during the off season. We have team runs Monday and Friday, which is hectic. It's just something that being a leader, you got to show up on time. You got to be the first one there, and you can't be the last one in runs. If we're sprinting, you can't be the last one. You can't even be in the middle. You got to be in the front. You got to push the weight. You got to actually finish the workout, skip no reps. Being a leader, we have breakfast check. You have to be in check in for breakfast. So being a leader is not a one-time thing or it's an everyday thing. You have to really hold yourself accountable because it's bigger than you. If you want to leave, I want to leave this school better than when I found it. So I'm going to have to put the work in to do that.
No, I mean, without question, you're building a legacy for yourself there as an elite playmaker, and setting yourself up obviously for success at the next level. So, on that note, what is at least one thing that if there's one thing and one thing only that the football community could know about your dedication to this game, just describe that feeling.
I would never give up. I've been through a lot. You could expect everything from me in the football community. I play with passion. Even my coach said it today. After the game, 256 yards, we lost that game, and I'm in the locker room crying just because we lost. And that's the passion I play with. He said most people he's seen have a record-breaking game like that. They're like, dude, I did my thing, but it's different for me. It's always bigger than me. Football has been bigger than me. And it's something I love and I play with a passion. So that's what I want the football community to think of me.
Look, Ryan, like I said, it's a really inspirational, motivating thing to connect with you here, especially as you prepare for what is ultimately going to be a great season, a great sort of send off for your college career, and a great introduction or continued introduction for you to everybody at that next level. So I mean, I can't tell you enough how appreciative I am of you taking the time out of your schedule to connect.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you too.
Well, look, hopefully we can tap in again and talk a little bit more about your successes down the road. But until then, just best of luck with preparing. It's a short summer. Obviously, training camp starts right around the corner.
Yeah, sure.
Well, hey, have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll catch up again soon.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
No doubt. Appreciate you as well. Talk soon.
All right. See you.